All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance THESPOKEN.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance THESPOKEN, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor THESPOKEN.
What's good?
Episode 294 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us, whether you were live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us at this time as we are officially back. It has been a long couple of weeks now. We've had 1 week off. It doesn't feel right when we do that, but you know what? It was necessary, and we're going to talk a lot more about that. But whether you are live streaming, podcast, or YouTubing, again, thank you for joining us today, guys. But we would very much hope that you, if you've not already done it, we tell you at the top of the show, we tell you at the bottom of the show, hit us up on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, hit the Spoken Podcast, like, subscribe, notify, share. All those things help us so much. But the biggest thing that helps us is if you get in the comments on the live stream, because we have a segment right in the heart of our show every single week called Speak It. You guys are mostly familiar with it, but if you're new here, what it is, we give you the platform, the opportunity to take over the entire show. Whatever question, whatever take, whatever comment, concern, whatever you guys have for us, you bring it to us throughout the show. But the comments and questions, in particular, the questions will be what we address directly during Speak It. So give us what you guys have. We're so excited to talk to you guys. We're so excited to get this show going again because, like I said, we haven't had a lot of conversation with you guys these last couple of weeks. Trevor, we missed the people, man. I'm sure you've missed it as well. How the hell you been, man? Everything good?
Busy, man. It's the busiest time of year for us over at FedEx. So, yeah, man, I've just been, I was sick this week, so I'm just now getting over that. I think that's kind of going around. All of our voices are kind of hoarse a little bit.
Yeah, man.
So
Tell me about it.
some colds and flus going around. It's that time of year, but, you know, we persevere, man. So I'm chugging along. Had volleyball games early this morning. So I've been up since about 6:30 on a Saturday, which is great. So
sarcastic tone was there. Definitely picked up on that one.
Yeah. So no, I mean we're good though, man. I'm ready to talk some ball, bro.
Well, let's just get right to it, Trevor. Without further ado, man, it is time, and it feels good to say this again, but it is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Yeah! We're back on motion! From out to the new beat! Woo!
So, I'm not talking to a dumb audience here. I know that. There are other shows out there that might have some dumb audiences on there. There's some shows on the national level that probably have some dumb audiences. But that's not the case here. So that's why we're going to talk to you very honestly today and cut to the shit. The Chiefs are 11-1 right now. And they're also playing football that stresses us all the hell out. This has not been a fun season. And I think it was, again, I mentioned at the top of the show, and I guess I'm gonna bury the lead here. The biggest reason why I think it was good that we took a week off here, Trevor, is because I don't think that if we would have done a show last week, I would have been able to see the forest through the trees as well as I have now when it comes to what this team is. You know, I try to compare this team a lot of times to the 2023 Chiefs. So much so that I actually ran a poll, and if we could show that on the screen real quick, I actually tweeted this out the other day. I asked you guys, through 12 games, who's the better team? And my favorite number, 69%, said that people believe this team's better than the 2023 Chiefs. And you know what? This is why I know you're not dumb. Because you're 100% correct. And I know the question. I know the things we're going to be getting in the chat today. Thank you all who have already been waiting, and thank you all who are going to be here throughout the show. Shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us today. But I know that the majority of the conversation is going to be about what is wrong with this team, because that's all we're talking about at the national level, all the way to our level. What is wrong with this team? And you know what? That's been my question. That's been my concern this entire season. And we've dissected it. We've brought up the problems. We know the problems with this team. But I don't think we sit here enough and wonder what's right about this team. And what gets this team to 11-1 despite all the issues and all the questions that we continue to have. Now, I know this might shock some of you because I'm usually the guy that stands more on the pessimistic side of things. I'm usually the guy that is a little bit, a little bit more on the skeptical side of things. And I get it. So this might come as a shock to you. But I think I needed these last couple of weeks to really shut the hell up, and look at this team for what they really are. Because they are a better team than the 2023 Chiefs. The 2023 Chiefs had a problem that they almost could not escape. They had the single worst wide receiver room in the NFL. They had two players that Patrick Mahomes could throw the ball to on a normal basis and trust. It was a 34-year-old tight end and a rookie second-round wide receiver who could only run shallow crossers. That's all he had. And they made it work. That isn't a good team. That isn't a Super Bowl winning team. We talked about this on the show, on our post games, on this show last season. After that Bills loss, when 𝚂𝙺 𝙺𝙀 could not line up on sides correctly and blew that game, I sat here moments after that game, yes, emotional, but I meant it when I said, as this team is constructed right now, they are not a Super Bowl contender. And I meant that, and to this day I meant that. They had to make adjustments. They had to say, 𝚂𝙺 𝙺𝙀, you're gone. Sky Moore, you're gone. MVS, either you're gonna do go routes or you're doing nothing. And then what happened? They trimmed the fat like we talked about on this show a year ago. Trimmed the fat and did just enough to scrape by. And luckily, their defense was unfreaking believable, giving them around 13 points a game in the postseason, and they found a way to win that bitch. That is not going to be the problem this time around. How do I know that? Why do I know that? Because this team is now built more to win at a more realistic level. Because last season, let's be real, guys, they won that Super Bowl like a 2000 team, like a 1999 team, like a team in the 90s. A very basic offense, a very structured defense, and they just survived games. Now, you're going to sit there and go, but hold on, Lance. The Chiefs have just been surviving games this season. And this is where I want to get to the point about this team this year. Because, yes, this team is surviving games this year. We just had 2 straight games against bad teams where the Chiefs played like ass. Played to the level of their competition, made Aiden O'Connell look like Peyton fucking Manning, and they found a way to win the game. And yes, you could say it was lucky. Because at the end, there was a lot of luck involved in that one. You could say that there was some luck involved in the Panthers game, and I'm not going to fight you on it. But see, we talked about this on Arrowhead LA's this last Tuesday. I hope you guys go watch that show later today. We had Sean Merriman on, one of the all-time great Chargers. Love that guy. Awesome dude. And this is a conversation we had after he got on the show, actually, and I presented it to the platform that this team truly is a team that gets bored in the regular season. And I'm prefacing this because I've brought this up on the show before, but I've never believed this more than I do right now. And I preface this by saying I don't like it. I enjoy watching good football. Trevor and I, we get up here on Sundays and we get excited. We're ready to watch the Chiefs, and you guys see how exhilarated we are on Saturdays, the day before the games, and we're hoping the Chiefs play some good football. And then we come back here the next week, God damn, that game sucked, dude. That was stressful as hell. It isn't enjoyable.
Every week, man.
Last year, couldn't catch a goddamn ball. Lost 5 of 8 games down the stretch. We weren't having fun. Chiefs won the Super Bowl, so obviously it was a big-time relief at the end of the season. But let's be real, it wasn't fun football. Guess what? Another season of the team not being fun. They're stressful as hell. They're stressing us all out. If I had the hair left on my head, it'd be receding right now. Maybe my beard's going to start falling out. I don't know what's going to happen. All I do know is this team stresses us all out. But this time around, we have to understand the context of why they're stressing us out. Because they are looking at this as we are experimenting and getting ready for the postseason. Last season, that wasn't the case. Last season, they were trying to figure out how the hell they're going to get there. Because they were losing games. The Chiefs have lost one game this season, and it was a game with 3 minutes left in the game. They were down 2 points. They had multiple opportunities to beat the Bills in Buffalo. Multiple. They just didn't execute correctly. And the Bills outplayed them. Credit to Josh Allen.
Yeah, a game we started with the turnover.
Exactly. Second play of the fucking game.
Yeah. Basically gave them the first possession of both halves.
Yeah, the Bills live off turnovers. Yeah. They're the best in the NFL at that.
Yeah.
So that's the only loss this team has. This is completely different than the 2023 team. That 2023 team had real issues that could keep them from winning the Super Bowl. The Chiefs this season do not have those. Are they perfect? No. But there is not a single team in the NFL right now that is more complete and more prepared to win the Super Bowl than this team. Why do I say that? Well, the obviousness aside, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, best duo in the league. Don't even start with me on it. Don't even start with me on it. They are, in my opinion, that's the best head coach quarterback duo in the history of this game. They have dominated this game since the moment they took over together, and they're going to continue to do so. Also, this defense may not be as dominant as they were last season, but this defense has all the pieces in place to still make plays when the moment is there, and they have done that this season. Have they had a bad stretch? Yes. But I know Steve Spagnuolo and what he can do with these young guys and what he continues to do every single year, and it's just enough. Also the fact, the biggest issue on this team was what? Left tackle. By far, hands down, the worst left tackle situation in the NFL in Kansas City all season. They just got DJ Humphries. And for those of you who don't know who he is, let me just go ahead and get to the brass tacks of it. He's a badass. He's a guy that's looking to win. He's a guy motivated by winning. He's a guy that had about 8 to 10 teams bidding for him. And the Chiefs got him. Paid him over $2 million for less than half a season. That's how serious this was. This is how big of an acquisition this was. And this is one of those acquisitions that you could say, well, you don't want to put too much pressure on him because that's a lot for one guy. He's a 30-year-old man. This is the time of times, and this is the moment he's been waiting for his entire career because he's never played for a true contender. Now he gets that chance. And as Trevor brought up on the show weeks ago, he stylistically fits this offense perfectly because he played with Kyler Murray for years. And Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes have a similar style. Kyler scrambles a little bit more, but it's that freestyle of a way of playing that a guy like DJ Humphries has to be acclimated to. Some guys can't do that. They have to be in a very structured offense. 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. He can hold the fort down for 4 to 6 seconds.
He was a Pro Bowler while protecting Kyler Murray.
100%. Who's a much smaller man than Patrick Mahomes. I'll also add that into the equation. So the point I'm making here, guys, is although this team is stressing us, trust me, I get it. As Trevor, we watch games together. Trevor feels the same way. I'm a little bit more vocal about it. This team stresses us the hell out every single weekend. These games have not been fun. But this team is going to the Super Bowl. And I hope you guys understand that. I hope you guys can live with that because I would rather have a team that doesn't play fun football but gets to the dance every single freaking year as opposed to a team like the Lions who are dropping 50 on most of their opponents and are going to lose in the second round because they have a head coach that doesn't know how to use situational football. Almost lost this game to the Packers because he thinks they're still the 3-win Lions for some damn reason. Handling games like it's, he's on the Vegas Strip. He's going to outcoach himself, whereas our coach puts his team in the perfect situation each and every damn time.
Sooner or later, the game's going to outgame you.
It comes down to the moments.
Yep.
Not they put up 48 points, guys. Watch out. That's the team to beat.
I mean, I respect the live by the sword, die by the sword mentality that he has, but
it's going to get to him.
Yeah, it's going to come at the worst time, and it did last year.
Yes,
in the postseason against the Niners,
and it's going to get him again.
Happened to them last year,
and it's going to get him again because Nick Sirianni, I'm not a big fan of his, But one thing that man does,
Good players coach.
and situations too, he's been known to make decent decisions, especially over Dan Campbell. Let's be real.
His guys play hard for him too.
They play hard for him, dude. So I'm looking at that NFC side. Not to go off on a tangent here, but I'm looking at some teams right here that I think can get the Lions. And I thought the Packers should have got the Lions this week. They had multiple opportunities to. Yep. The point I'm making, guys, is the Chiefs are in a great position. I know it's not been fun, but we really have to consider the fact this team has lost several key players throughout this season, even before the season. Had one of the toughest schedules to start the season off. Has played very mediocre football. Has stressed us all out. And guys, they're one win away from winning the division for a 9th consecutive year. And if the Bills lose one more game, the Chiefs are going to wrap up the 1 seed.
Yep. That could be this weekend.
And the Bills are going to lose 2 more games because they're going to lose their next 2. And I've already made that prediction on Arrowhead Allies. I'm making that here. They're losing to the Rams this Sunday, and they're losing at Lions next Sunday. I've already made that prediction. I'm sticking by that.
Yeah.
Now, the Chiefs do have a tough stretch here, guys, and it's going to be more stressful football. And I'm telling myself that. I'm getting myself mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared for this. But I'm telling you guys, when it hits January, mid-January, and you know that the games that matter the most are starting to come around, that number 15 is going to get engaged again. You're already seeing him. The uptick's already there. This last month and change, Patrick Mahomes is playing like his old self again. You know why? Because he finally has some weapons to throw to, and he's overcome the inefficiencies on the offensive side, especially on the left side.
And that's we've seen him start to come alive and we've seen his, not his anxiety, but his angst towards the offensive line. We've seen him get a little more flustered than we normally see. He usually keeps his cool pretty well, but he's been taking hits that are just absolutely unnecessary. 5 sacks back-to-back weeks against the Panthers and the Raiders. It's just unacceptable statistic there. So, yeah, I mean, Patrick's rolling, and you get him some more time on that left side, man. Patrick's going to start doing what Patrick does.
Shout out to our guys, Ruben De Cruz, Enrique, Chief 65, TV, Toss Power, Trap Power Toss. Shout out to all you guys for being in here already. Everybody drop your names in here. Hang out with us today, guys. We have a lot to talk about. Our guy Ruben De Cruz said, "Don't give up on King Sumo." Look, I'm not giving up on Kingsley Suamataia. I just think that what's going to end up happening here is that I think the writing's on the wall. I think Kingsley is going to play for the Chiefs for years to come.
Yeah.
It just may not be a left tackle.
Right.
What I will say about this is that we're gonna get to this Chiefs Chargers preview because I just want to get right to everything. I'm so stoked to be back. And it's everything we're hearing too, is that Kingsley could very well be the replacement for either Joe Thuney or Trey Smith at
Probably going to
guard.
be Trey Smith, unfortunately.
And here's the thing, though. If the Chiefs do three-peat,
Yeah.
I think there's a solid chance Joe Thuney retires.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has 1 year left on his deal.
We could lose both of them.
But this is what I was talking about to you, what was it, 2 or 3 shows ago.
There's going to be some good free agents, opposite linemen out there, too, but
Trey's going to get a lot of money.
Trey's going to get paid.
But here's the thing. If Joe Thuney's money comes off the board,
And we don't pay Nick Bolton.
and they're not going to pay Nick
Yeah,
Bolton,
yeah.
then all of a sudden, who you paying? You already paid Creed Humphrey.
I just don't know if we're going to invest that much into him and all the money that we're already giving to Juwan Taylor.
Well, here's the thing. Well, Juwan Taylor's getting 19.5 no matter what next season. So that's already on the books.
Yeah.
So the cap space is going to be what the cap space is, either with Juwan Taylor on the books or not. But he's getting his 19.5 next year anyway.
Yeah.
The question you have to ask yourself is, where are the Chiefs going to spend money anyway? Because Hollywood Brown, if they want to bring him back next season, he's not going to be expensive. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing.
That could happen, bro.
He's going to get $30 million somewhere. I don't see the Chiefs being a team that pays $30 million for a wide receiver.
That guy's a game changer.
The only receivers I would ever see the Chiefs paying that kind of money towards is a guy like Tyreek Hill or Jamar Chase. Guys that are elite receivers. And T's going to get that money somewhere. I don't think it's going to be Kansas City. My point is that we know that the number one thing to do besides having Patrick Mahomes is protecting him.
Yep.
So unless the Chiefs have a left tackle out there in the free agency they're going to go spend a ton of money on,
I think they got their
who better to spend money on than Trey Smith, who's 25 years old, who's missed one game in his career, a 6th-round pick that far superseded all expectations. Yes, there's going to be a Super Bowl tax out there for him. But if the Chiefs have the cap space, which I know they will.
Yeah, we'll have money.
Spend the money on Trey Smith. And like I said, that's if Joe Thuney retires. Maybe Joe doesn't retire. I think at 33, 34 years old, he's still amazing.
I want him as long as he wants to play, man. I love that guy.
But if they three-peat, Joe Thuney, looking at his career, he's in his mid-30s. He's won, 5 rings at that point?
Yeah.
Surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like, do you keep playing? I don't know, man.
He'll have 5 rings, right?
That'd be 5 rings.
Fuck,
that's what I'm saying. He would win 5 fucking rings.
Part of 2 dynasties.
Yeah, he'd be one of the greatest interior offensive linemen of all time.
Yeah.
Most successful. So yeah, then you have to start putting his name up there with like Will Shields and guys like that. You have to really, I mean, Zach Martin, dudes like that, man.
I do agree, though. I think paying Trey Smith, if Tooney does retire, I think is the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
I think keeping that continuity and then finding a way to replace maybe Kingsley being that replacement like you alluded to, which I think Kingsley has the upside to be a great guard, in my opinion, because he's a very blocky guy, is very athletic. He's
a freak.
He gets burnt a lot on the edge, which maybe he might not be the best, if not, at least not right now, on the edge, on the the tackle position. But if you put him in the interior, that dude will take up a lot of space, and he's strong as shit.
So that's what I'm telling you, Ruben, not to go off too far into this whole thing, but I do think we need to get mentally prepared to see Kingsley play an interior guard position.
He's going to be a Chief for a long time.
Yes, because he's on a rookie deal. They obviously love this kid.
Yeah.
They took him with their second overall pick.
Yeah.
I definitely think Kingsley's got a future in Kansas City. It just may not be the future I was anticipating.
We just got to be patient with him, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is, we were patient with Felix. That might not be working out. That might be something that we failed on, we whipped on, but I have a good feeling about Kingsley, bro. I think Kingsley's going to be a glue guy for a long time. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's just kind of under the radar, kind of a guy that just contributes every week moving forward in his career as a Chief. And I think he'll be here a while for sure.
Shout out to our guy Dustin Orton, who just jumped to the chat. Morning to you as well, my brother. Thank you for coming in with us and hanging out. We need to get, we're moving right along, man. We're barely 20 minutes into the show, but I want to get right to this Chargers game. So we're already hearing it. We're already hearing it, man.
Yeah.
We're already seeing it. The national media is ready for the Chiefs to lose another game. So much so.
They want it badly.
Let's put that on the screen real quick. This is on Get Up from yesterday morning. Would you look at that? Outside of the one guy that has brain cells on that platform, Dan Graziano, which, all joking aside, I actually really like Ryan Clark and Greenberg. I like those guys a lot. Bart Scott and Mike T get fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Graziano honestly is a lot of times the voice of reason. Even if he was to pick the Chargers in this one, I'd still say that.
Yeah.
You can see by his hands right there. I wish I had a close up for that. But Dan Graziano's looking at these guys, and I wish you guys would have saw this clip if you didn't already. Everything Dan said was 100% correct in this matchup. And look, I'm not saying that every single week you got to pick the Chiefs. But in this matchup, it doesn't really. I'm trying to find, because even with these close games we've talked about with the Panthers and Raiders, the Chiefs still found a ways to get dubs in those games.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Chargers matchup, Trevor, and I'm saying,
banged up team.
They just, we saw them just play the Falcons.
Yeah.
The Falcons had five interceptions?
Five turnovers, 4 interceptions.
4 interceptions, yeah. Kirk Cousins
2 of those interceptions
terrible.
were in the red zone, or in the end zone, in the red zone trips.
And the Chargers had less than 200 yards of offense.
Yeah, you couldn't have been worse than Kirk was.
They
gave him that game, bro.
If I'm the Chargers, I'm sitting here wondering what the hell's wrong with us.
Yeah, that defense was letting them move down the field, but
it was like early Christmas. He was donating passes to the Chargers defense.
Outside of the Buccaneers games, outside of those 2 Buccaneers games, the 2 games he's gone off this year, just a side tangent on Kirk Cousins, he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns.
God damn.
Outside of those 2 Buccaneers,
he might be cooked, man. It might be Penix time.
He's been awful.
It might be Penix
honestly.
time.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying about the Chargers is, guys, and look, I put this tweet out here yesterday. If we can put that up there, Trevor, just so that people can see it. I'm a big context guy, and this is the context of all this, guys. The Chargers so far this season have beaten the Raiders, Panthers, Broncos, Saints, Browns, Titans, Bengals, Falcons. A combined record of 33-64. They have 1 win against a team with a winning record. It was the Broncos. And the Broncos didn't have a winning record at the time.
Yeah. It was a good win.
It was a good win, yeah. At their house, it was like week 3.
Broncos are a good team.
Sure.
I think everyone knows that now. Yeah.
The Chargers are 8-4, far more because of their schedule than hiring Jim Harbaugh. And that's not a knock on Jim Harbaugh.
I think it's a combination of the two.
We've seen Brandon Staley take this team to the playoffs.
Sure, but I think the situational football decision that John Harbaugh succeeds at is definitely,
because he's a great coach,
given them some wins they probably shouldn't have had that it would have been with Staley.
I'm just saying, guys, is there any coincidence at all that a team this inept offensively, and honestly, this inept defensively,
they're just banged up offensively,
have played this well from a record standpoint and a points per game perspective on the defensive side when they've had the last place schedule?
Yeah.
They had a last place schedule.
Which also skews their NFL leading points allowed per game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they played some of the worst offense in the league.
Derwin James having a career year this year. He's been incredible.
Again,
but they've also played a lot of bad quarterback play.
Exactly.
For sure.
They played some really bad. Again, the only good teams they faced this year they've lost to.
But
outside of the Broncos.
At the same time, to reflect on the Chiefs in this comparison, the Chiefs have also allowed bad quarterbacks to go off against us too. So the Chargers are playing the hand they're dealt, and they're playing it really well. The Chiefs have allowed bad quarterbacks to have really big games, if not career games, like Aiden O'Connell and Bryce Young the back-to-back weeks, which is a rough thing for us to look. So the Chargers can be looking at the Chiefs like, oh, hey, we got fucking Justin Herbert, one of the best arms, if not the best arm in football. Granted, they don't. I mean, they might be down Ladd McConkey and
that's what I'm saying.
Weapons,
the Chargers have the dogs because to the Raiders' credit, to the Panthers' credit, they got dogs. The Raiders have Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. Those are good players. Those are guys that you could see having big games. I don't see Quentin Johnston having a blow-up game.
Yeah.
I don't see Palmer is that Trey Palmer? I don't see him having a big game.
Josh Palmer.
I said Trey Palmer. Josh Palmer.
Ladd McConkey's the only guy I'm worried about.
If he was playing this game, I'd be worried.
And I will say Will Disley, any tight end against the Chiefs, they tend to eat. So Will Disley's had a really good year this year.
Sure.
I don't know, for whatever reason, the way we play defense, we allow tight ends to eat. So
this game would be a legit worry for me, Trevor, if J.K. Dobbins was playing.
Sure.
Even though the Chiefs' defense is great at stopping the run, in
the league, yeah.
We have seen them over the last couple of weeks get gashed, even against the worst rushing attack against the Raiders. The Raiders had like 119 rushing yards against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
It was pretty bizarre. So J.K. Dobbins
was running all over us too.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins coming into town, that would give me some pause, man, because the Chiefs would have to respect that, and Herbert would have the overthrows with Ladd McConkey and guys, even Quentin Johnston, to his credit, downfield. But here's the thing about even Justin Herbert, Trevor. This is what I was talking about before the season even began. Sure, Justin Herbert's been fine this year. He has one interception. That's very impressive.
He's been good.
He's been very Alex Smith this year.
Yeah.
A guy that just kind of stays out of the
way.
way.
He doesn't have to. Their defense has been great.
Right.
He doesn't have to be great.
But this is a game where he's going to have to be great. He's going to have to be great to beat the Chiefs.
Well, and to his credit, too, I mean, it was a nail-biter last time he faced, and he was very, very banged up.
In the same regard, the Chiefs didn't have Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah. He's back. And they lost Rashee Rice when they didn't have D-Hop.
We didn't have D-Hop.
You know what I mean? Right. So, and
Noah
Gray wasn't the target that he's become.
Also, too, Derwin James was at that game against us as well.
True, that's fair.
So there's a lot of things that were not the same that are now different in this game. So, I mean, this is really this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I think it's going to be another close battle, man. We tend to, no matter how good or bad either one team is, these games with the Chargers, especially the Chargers, the last few years have been closer than they should be, in my opinion. But this game gives me pause, man. This is one of those games because we have other big games coming up after this one as well. So, but these divisional games, this is where I just trust Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes to get up. You know, they practice all year long for these divisional foes. Andy Reid dominates this division since he's been here for a reason, because he has game plans. Spags has game plans for these opposing offenses. So I expect these boys to be ready for this game, man. But it's just really about our execution in the red zone. That is what it comes down to.
What if I told you, Trevor, I think there's a better chance the Chiefs blow the Chargers out than lose?
I mean, I think the numbers would be against you in that, but because I think we've lost more than we've blown people out in the last several years. So we don't blow people out. We lose. Honestly, I'd say we would lose before we blow somebody out.
Okay,
that's where I'm at, honestly.
And
if I'm being honest.
What would your reason be because of that?
I mean, just trends, and statistically, that would be the more accurate prediction in my mind, because we just don't blow people out, bro. We don't do it. I mean, we just don't blow people out. I don't know, especially in these Chargers.
But they also don't lose.
Games.
The Chiefs have more blowouts this year than losses.
We don't have any blowouts.
Yeah, they do. They have multiple double-digit wins. I consider those blowouts.
I don't. But
what is a blowout to you?
What, 9-10 points is a blowout to you?
No, it isn't 9-10 points. I'm saying like the Chiefs have multiple 10 to 13 point victories this year. They have more double-digit victories than losses this year.
I mean, in the division though, I don't know. These divisional games, we don't blow these teams out. We never do. Even the Raiders, we never blow them out. I mean, last time we blew out the Raiders was like 4 years ago. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. The last time we've lost more divisional games than the last time we blew a divisional team out.
Here's why I say that, because of the fact that I'm looking at
we're gonna win by 3.
The trend, and maybe you're right, and that could be the conversation.
That's the answer.
But here's the thing: I think that's the scenario if Ladd McConkey and J.K. Dobbins are playing a 3-point victory.
Ladd is a big X factor,
right?
For sure. He's really
look. Okay, this is with Ladd McConkey and J.K. Dobbins over this year. Yeah, well, this is this season with Ladd McConkey and J.K. Dobbins in the mix. At Pittsburgh this year, the Raiders lost, or the Chargers lost 20-10 against the Chiefs, 17-10.
It does our defense, man.
Yeah, and then against the Ravens much later this year, just 2 weeks ago, in fact, they lost to the Ravens by 7 in LA, 30-23.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, and I think that was the game that J.K. Dobbins actually got hurt.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this matchup. I'm thinking, what's the most points do you think the Chargers can score in this game?
Well, and just before I answer that,
Good.
John Harrison put some context on this bleeds right into this conversation with how the Chargers have actually been winning games. To that Falcons game that they just won, he says the Chargers won that game with 187 yards, 5 turnovers, and only scored 17 points. And one of those was an INT that was a pick 6 and a 2-point conversion. So they scored 9 total points offensively in the rest of the game. That is some great context there. So I agree with you. So how many points do I think the Chargers can score? I'd say right around 17.
The most.
Yeah, because
you're not beating the Chiefs.
Because our defense is superior to that Falcons defense, and that Falcons defense actually played really, really well against that offense, the Chargers. So it really depends, man, if we can stop teams on third down. If we can get them off the field on third downs, I think this could be a blowout. If we could do 2 things, these are the only 2 things I think we need to do on a weekly basis to beat literally anybody in this league, is execute red zone trips, stop settling for field goals, and stop teams on third down.
Right.
If we can do those 2 things, no one is beating us.
Right.
If we consistently do those, because it's so annoying, bro, because we can't do both at the same time each week. It's either we're really good offensively, converting third downs all day long, and then our defense is letting us down and letting teams convert third and longs all day long.
Right.
While we're being good on third downs offensively. We can't do both. And if we could do those 2 things in one game and put a whole game together, both sides of the ball, we will dominate whoever's on that field. We just got to do that.
This is why I say what I say about more so the fact that I'm very confident the Chiefs are going to win this game, and I think by a touchdown or more, which I don't think is. Let me say this: I think the Chiefs. I think this can still be a very stressful game, and the Chiefs still win this game by 10.
But come fourth quarter, I think we all know what the vibe's going to be.
Here's the reason why, Trevor. It just I hate to look at raw numbers, but I think in some instances you have to talk about it because the Chargers get all this praise for being the shutdown defense, correct?
Yeah.
They're number 1 in the league. They give up about 16 points a game, 15.7. The Chiefs have had one of the toughest schedules in the league. They're giving up less than 20 per game. Right. That's 8th in the league.
Yeah, we face some of the top offenses in the league.
Yeah, so they're both top 10 defenses. Then you look at the fact that the Chiefs literally get twice as many passing yards per game in the league. They're 12th to the Chargers 24th.
Especially as of late, Pat's been chucking it.
How about this? Everybody talks about, oh, man, the Chargers have this dominant run game. They average 1.1 yard more per game on the ground than the Chiefs do. They're 18th in rushing. The Chiefs are 19th. Time of possession. Chiefs are 8th in the league. The Chargers are 20th. Third down efficiency. The Chiefs are absolutely the best in the league at 52%.
Oh, yeah.
The Chargers are 17th.
Yeah, and they're I mean, we're really bad in the red zone converting touchdowns, but they're right there with us. They're terrible at converting touchdowns in the red zone too. So it's really up to us that we're going to get ours.
Where this game can favor the Chargers heavily is in quarterback pressure because the Chargers are 8th in the league in sacks of 35, and the Chiefs are 26 with 24.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Trevor.
Pat, man. Gotta get after Herbert.
It's the perfect time for the Chiefs to face the Chargers. They finally have a left tackle.
We're getting healthier. They're getting less healthy.
Yes. So their best, what they're best at, they're now missing their running back, and they're missing, and now they have to face a formidable foe at left tackle. Yeah. They're not facing Wanyas Morass.
Yeah.
They're facing DJ Humphries, dude, a proven commodity in this league.
And the Chargers, I mean, go figure. They've been pretty good at home with no real home crowd. They've been pretty good at home this year. But we already beat them in their place. Now they got to come to Arrowhead, a raucous crowd. 11-1 team that's looking to go 12-1. This is gonna be a packed out, probably sold out game. It's gonna be a tough environment for a lot of these Chargers players that have already been struggling offensively. You got Stone Hands out there dropping passes. All the receivers have been dropping a lot of passes.
You don't know who Stone Hands is Quentin Johnston, by the way. Dude's terrible.
My God. So him playing in this kind of environment is already a letdown. I don't expect anything of him. Will Disley's probably going to be the only guy that's probably going to eat, and we'll probably allow that. We'll play some bid dope break, let them eat over the middle with the tight ends as we do on a weekly basis, no matter who the tight end is. But this is a tough spot for Herbert for sure. He's been healthy for the most part of the last several weeks, so he's been, there's no excuses here outside of like the last game he played him. He was banged up and his ankle was really hurt, so I'd give him a little pass on that. But he hasn't looked too hot the last couple of weeks. So this is gonna be a really tough environment for the Chargers, man. This is a great, like you said. If there's any moment to blow a team out, it's a divisional foe coming off of back-to-back weeks where we just have not put together back-to-back games and barely escaped 2 terrible teams. So now we're playing a team that's going to be hungry to beat us. This is going to be their Super Bowl right here, coming into Arrowhead. really still challenging us for the division. The division's not sealed up yet, which the Chiefs knowing that we can seal the division with this win is very motivating. And I know that locker room, that's going to be the rhetoric around the locker room this week. You know, Andy Reid's pushing that message. Let's lock up the division. Let's get that one more game closer to locking up the AFC entirely. One game at a time, but this is a big one here. And Andy Reid, I fully expect to have his guys ready to play this week.
And there's got to be a certain level of excitement, like you said, too, knowing that, and also the fact that, like we talked about, and according to all reports, Charles Goldman, we've heard Nate Taylor, we've heard everybody talk about it, the Chiefs are almost completely healthy. We saw McCole Hardman have a little bit of a knee tweak yesterday at practice. Sounds like he's going to be okay.
Who is the one I'm excited about the most getting a second weekend.
And for the love of Christ, can we start seeing 𝚂𝙭 play football?
Man.
He had one snap last week.
I don't understand.
I get that you
want
to
trade for the man.
I get you want to ease a guy into the situation. It's time. He needs to start playing meaningful. Because look, I'm an FAU guy. Yeah. FAU ain't doing it right now. He's not. He's not a plus player.
Yeah, he's good at setting. He's got good speed, but
he's not a plus player right now.
He's not getting home on anything.
Yeah, they're not getting what they need out of FAU.
We got to get home.
So 𝚂𝙭 needs to start taking those snaps.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I like FAU, but come on.
Start this week.
I think that needs to change. Amenahu looked incredible.
That's what I'm saying.
Week.
The second week, I think he's going to be so good this game. I really, really expect. That's a guy we need because that's a guy that has length, has power. I think he's a guy that can really start to get home on some of these sacks and really, penetrate and take advantage of those double teams that Chris Jones is getting. He's going to be one of those guys that can really take advantage.
Yeah, and that's the stuff right there, guys, that I think is going to show you, because obviously losing Jalen Watson sucks. Hopefully the Chiefs can get him back for the postseason. It sounds like more and more that might actually happen. Nate Taylor was reporting
he's been cryptically tweeting some stuff.
And Nate Taylor did say he's been doing some workouts and stuff like that. So maybe he will be back, but maybe he won't be. The point is,
need something.
This all starts with the pass rush. It all starts there. Yeah. But even with that, Trevor, I wanted to test this theory out with you. Then we're going to get to our key players and the score predictions. I brought this up on Arrowhead Allies a couple weeks ago, and the guys seemed to. I could tell they were pondering on it. And Noah gave us a thought. And if Noah's watching, listening right now, maybe he'll chime in as well on this show. But, the biggest question on the defensive side right now is what are they going to do with the secondary? That's the biggest question. And I came into this season thinking that the Chiefs had arguably the best safety room in the league. I think they have one of the best safety rooms in the league.
Derwin James.
Justin Reed's had a good season, but not a great season. He's really struggled in downfield throws. Brian Cook's actually had a really bad season. But Jaden Hicks has been really good.
Sneaky good.
Now, this is where...
Brian Cook's taking a step back.
Brian Cook's not been good this year. And I love Brian, but he's been bad.
Toast out there.
He's been bad.
Yeah.
But here's where I think the Chiefs can maybe shore up a cornerback position or two. They've been having Trent McDuffie play on the outside, which I really hate. Because you can tell Trent's pressing now. He's not missed a single snap this season. Yeah. And it feels like, because they never throw his way, but whenever they do, he always tries to make a 10-point play. And it's just like, Trent, just play within your game. You can tell he's not himself right now.
Yeah, he's out of his element a little bit.
So this is what they need to do. They need to put Trent back in the slot, and they need to put Chamari Connor outside. Chamari Connor is, I think, built to take on that role. Chamari Connor right now is playing a lot of safety because that's more of his natural position.
Yeah.
But I think he could be a one-on-one corner. He's big enough, fast enough, physical enough. He's got that nasty in him.
And I also would prefer him to play in coverage back for a little more too, because when he's been playing that safety role and trying to he over pursues too much. Open field. That's something he'll get better at as he's still a wild stallion. That kid's got some growth. He's gonna be great, but he over pursues too much. He gets a little too over aggressive. He's not patient enough for that.
Right, and the reason why
him on those tackles open field, he's whipping a lot.
Well, and the reason I feel confident in saying that is because I believe that Jaden Hicks can take on that role that Chamari has.
I agree.
I think they need to give Jaden Hicks that opportunity. Jaden Hicks is continuing to prove himself as one of the best safeties on this team. I think by next season, Jaden Hicks is the best safety on this team.
He's good, man.
So put him in that role where Chamari is, and then Joshua Williams and Najee Johnson, those guys can kind of bounce in and out.
And let Trent eat in the slot.
Yeah, and let Trent just stay where he dominates. Yeah. And that is what I think is going to keep the tight ends from killing us the way they have been.
But also to your point, this all goes back to are we getting home on our pressures? We can have pressures all day. That's cool, but we're not even smelling the quarterback's cologne. We're not getting a hand on the jersey. We're not taking anybody to the ground. That's the problem. Chris Jones can only do so much. He's getting double, triple teamed every snap.
If Justin Herbert
somebody's got to take advantage.
If they sack Justin Herbert 3 times this game, the Chargers are not scoring 17 points.
Oh, I think we're getting at least 3 sacks.
That's what I'm saying.
The Falcons, to John Harrison's point, that they gave up 5 sacks to the Falcons last week.
Right.
Chiefs are going to get.
I
think O'Shea's going to get more work, and I think Aminu's going to be a big factor, and George could have a big game as well.
And like you said, 5 turnovers for the Chargers to get 17 points. The Chiefs are not going to have 5 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
So that's my point, is that even though, yes, the Chiefs have had their issues and they stress us out, we can address that. We can, off the top of this show, we can still come into this matchup feeling very confident that the Chiefs are the far superior team, healthier team, more experienced team. I think the more ready team for this matchup. I'm not, look, Jim Harbaugh is going to have this team mentally ready, but sometimes, man, the Jimmies and Joes do matter. Sometimes you got to have the dogs, and they just don't have the dogs offensively. Defensively, they do. You're right.
Yeah.
Derwin James is having a killer season. Joey Bosa has been actually healthy for once.
Yeah.
No coincidence there. He's playing good football.
Khalil Mack playing this week? I think he's been out for the last few weeks. I don't even know if Khalil Mack's playing. I'm not sure, but I don't know if I think he might be playing this week. But they've been.
I haven't heard that he ain't playing.
They're a top 8 team at sacks this year, top 7 team in sacks. So, I mean, you got to give it to them, man. They find ways, and they're very creative. Their DC's been very creative, and but again, at the same time, who are they playing at the same time? You know, who is their competition? But also with the Chiefs, though, we play some bad teams, and we've yet to get home on a lot of these sacks that we should be getting. So, yeah, man, this is going to be a matchup that we have a lot. The Chiefs, as great as we've been, 11-1, 1 loss in the season. I feel like we still got a lot of things to prove.
Yeah,
and I think that's the mentality of this team. Still, like, we still have a chip on our shoulder. We're not even yet to play anywhere close to our best football.
Yeah,
right. So I mean, if the Chiefs can get a really good, solid football game from start to finish, 0 turnovers, the defense doing their job, Pat executing, having time to execute pass, go through his progressions, no one's beating that team. No one's beating that team when Pat has time to make plays and this defense is eating. No one's beating this team, and Andy Reid's in his bag. No one, dude. It's a proven chemistry at this point. Right. You put this in a lab. There's no defeating this. So
it looks like the Chargers will be without Denzel Perryman.
Yeah.
There's a chance that Tony Jefferson won't play.
How about Bud Dupree? That dude's having a great. He has 7 sacks this year.
He was a full participant. He was a full participant on Friday.
He's an older veteran, man. I mean, he was awesome with this.
Junior Colson's questionable, which that's another linebacker they like.
Yeah.
But yeah,
still questionable.
Ladd McConkey, they had him as a limited participant, but according to everything I was reading, he didn't practice.
I don't think he's playing.
I don't think he's playing either.
Yeah.
But at the Chiefs, I mean, you had Noah Gray, full participant all week. Charles Omenihu, Juwan Taylor, they're all full participants. Yeah. And then on McCole Hardman hurt his knee. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and he's questionable. So I'd love to see him get back out there. But the thing I want to talk about real quick, Trevor, the reason why I'm so comfortable saying that I think the Chiefs are going to have I'm going to say this right now, Trevor. I don't think Patrick Mahomes gets sacked in this game.
Oh man,
here's the reason why.
Defensive line.
Look, I pay respect to them.
Yeah,
but we've seen how different this offense moves, Trevor, when there was just a reliable guy on the left side.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be his first start also. I mean, I feel like Pat's a lock to get sacked at least once every week, which has been pretty consistent.
I just don't see it this week, and here's the biggest reason why, man, is because DJ Humphries in his career has been one of the more reliable passing left tackles in the NFL. Sure. So I'm not a PFF guy, but there's really no other scores to go off of when it comes to grading tackles and offensive linemen. In 2022, this last full healthy season, because he got hurt late last year, he was third amongst all left tackles in passing pass blocking with an 85.9 grade. It was behind only Jake Matthews and Tristan Wirfs. And then in 2021, he had a 88.7. His overall pass blocking grade was 80.5, which was the best of his career, allowing just 1 quarterback hit on 575 offensive snaps. His 5 total penalties were also the lowest since 2018. So, look, I'm not saying that is what the Chiefs are getting. But when you sprinkle that, like, let's say you get 75 to 80% of that, that is 100% better than Wanya Morris.
Yeah.
And you know what that does? That takes pressure off Joe Thuney from having to look in his left eye every 5 seconds. Now,
or Pat alone.
He can just focus on the men in front of him.
Yeah.
Creed can do the same thing. Trey can do the same thing. Juwan can do the same thing. And if Juwan Taylor can just line up on sides, we're not going to have any problems on the offensive line at all, because the Chiefs are the best interior offensive line in the NFL, bar none. So they're just getting capable left tackle play. I'm not saying that he's got to play like prime DJ Humphries.
Yeah.
He just plays 75,
Above
80%
Yeah.
of what he was. The Chiefs aren't losing another game this year because that has been the whole bugaboo, the whole problem why Pat's been speeding up in his brain. I got to hurry up and get this ball out. Shit. And lofts the ball over the middle of the field, and Taron Johnson picks him off.
Yeah, and he's not one of these quarterbacks. He's not Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who's just running around all the time,
Right.
and running for yards. Because we don't. That's not the kind of quarterback Patrick. He only runs when he feels like he has to.
Yes,
in big time moments. So Pat doing that every week is just one bad idea because you don't want to get him hurt. Because those quarterbacks tend to get hurt more than not. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great opportunity for us as fans and us as a team to figure some things out and see what we got in certain guys and see how healthy some guys, like I said, the second week back for Amenahu, getting other guys in rotation, getting 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙳 some more work for Christ's sake. We still got some things that we're growing in other players and experiments that we're still working on that hopefully start clicking, down the stretch here heading into the postseason, especially defensively on that defensive line. And then obviously on the left side of the offensive line. Those are two massive things we got to figure out. And this is a great moment to do so against a team that, allows a lot of sacks as well. Herbert gets hit a lot as well. So we need to take advantage of that because the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 weak offensive lines with 2 bad quarterbacks that we should have destroyed, and we didn't. So this is a moment where we got to be real with ourselves, nut up, and do our jobs defensively on the offensive line and on the defensive line. So I expect, man, like I said, these kind of games, Spags, Andy Reid, they draw it up. Right, so I think we're going to see some nice, spicy blitzes that drawn up by Spags, whether it's sending Shamari Connor on some blitzes or Justin Reid on some blitzes to get to rattle Justin Herbert a little bit. And I fully expect it because we rattled the shit out of him in the first game while he was banged up on top of it. So, yeah, man, I expect this defense to really be really feisty this weekend for sure.
Well, I think that you're right on when it comes to dialing up some stuff because now the Chiefs they know that they're in the last month-ish of the regular season. This is the time where you really start to
ramp it up. Yeah,
you start to pick it up. And what better time than to do it against a divisional foe who has a real shot of making the playoffs? Yep. Like, you don't want to see a team for a third time. Not that the Chiefs,
and the Broncos. We got the Broncos that come in too, another possible playoff team.
Right. So the Chiefs have 2 more big divisional games. They have this one and another one with the Broncos. A Broncos team that's very pissed off because they felt like they should have won that game, that first matchup.
They have every right to feel
rightfully so. Yeah. This is the time where the Chiefs need to kind of put the eggplant on them. You know what I mean? Let them know.
We'll stamp.
Yeah, exactly. So we're trying to keep this as family friendly as we can, but sometimes we can't help ourselves.
Put the Pat stamp on them.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Trevor, 2 key players for you, man.
All right, so defensively, I need a George Karlaftis game. He's been on a little slump. He had a heater going there for a few weeks this year in the middle of the year. But I think getting 𝚂𝙭𝙳 some more work and getting Amenahu is a big addition back. Having that guy back has been huge. He looked great in his first limited snaps last week, but when he was out there, he looked awesome. I think this could be a great moment for him to kind of get some work on the opposite side of George, having those guys on the edge doing their work. And obviously moving Amenahu in and out of the middle too. He'll play with Chris Jones in the middle sometimes. But I think this is a great moment for George to get after Herbert and attack that side of the offensive line. He's going to be on the opposite side of alt, so he'll be attacking the weaker side of the offensive line. I can see him having success in this game, so I think George can really wreck this game single-handedly if he does what I expect him to do and take care of business and get home on some of those sacks because he's looked awesome at certain times this year, man, but he's taken a few weeks off, and it's been frustrating because I believe in George. I think he's got a lot of capabilities to be a great player for this team. I just want to see it this week, and it couldn't be a bigger moment and a better time for him to do so this week. So I'm going with George Karlaftis in this game defensively. Offensively, this is a Xavier Worthy game written all over it. He didn't have that connection yet with Pat just a couple weeks into the year when we played them the first time, right? A few weeks into the season. And he still scored the biggest play of the game. Was Xavier Worthy, that 60-yard touchdown from between him and Pat, and that was a kind of an off-script, Pat just fuck it, chuck it kind of football. Great ball to him. It was an incredible route to burnt his guy and completed the catch. Big moment for that kid. I think they can build on that. The weakness of the Chargers defense is their corners. Their corners suck, if I'm being honest. They have they're good at getting home on their sacks. Obviously, they create good pressure up front. Their safety play is good because Derwin James is one of the best in the game, but their cornerbacks are very susceptible to speed and good and allowing too much space. So if they get beat on the press by Xavier Worthy and he burns him, he's going to have some big plays in this game. So they better not press Xavier Worthy. They better play loose and kind of play some just keep him in front of you because I think this kid can have a massive game. And we've seen it the last couple weeks. They've been kind of forcing him the ball a little bit, getting him more layup routes, just kind of getting the ball in his hands, letting him kind of see what they can do after the catch. I think we'll see more of that, and I think we'll see some more breaking free, not broken coverage, but just him breaking free, getting behind the safeties. And I'll be damned if they try to play man-on-man with the kid. So I think this is a big moment for Xavier Worthy to repeat and build upon having a better performance than he even did last time he played this team, because these are bad corners, and I expect him to go beat bad corners. So Xavier Worthy is my guy offensively.
Can I ask you a question real quick? If because I like to make up these like connection nicknames, like when Patrick and Travis connect on a throw or something, I always call it the goat to goat connection, or with D-Hop I call it the Mahop connection. I came up with one for Patrick and Worthy.
What's that?
Lord and Xavier. What do you think about that?
That's a work in progress.
I like it. I'm gonna use it and see what people think.
Know. Hey, by the way, chat, get your questions in, man. I've got one question so far.
Yeah, what the hell, guys? Come on, man. You act like we took a week off or something, man. Get back in here.
Give me your questions.
Tell us what you got. But yeah, I'm gonna say it, the Lord and Xavier connection. I think that's a good one, because obviously Patrick is God, and like Lenny is God, so is Patrick, and then Xavier is the Xavier. Shout out
to Lonnie Pierman in the chat. Shout out, what's up, man? Thanks for hopping in here, bro.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Let us know what you guys think about that one, because I think I'm gonna go with it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I actually 100% agree with you. I actually think that Xavier Worthy is gonna be a key X factor in this game, because I know the Chargers have a good secondary. Asante Samuel Jr., those guys are good players.
Their corners may get cooked, though, dude.
But I think what the focus is going to be on is keeping Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes out of rhythm, because the Chargers, if any team knows what Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes can do to a defense, it's this team.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to, and I actually think Travis
game.
Kelce's going to have a good game.
I don't.
I think he's got like 7 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. I think Travis has a good game.
I hope.
But if you notice, Travis has been playing some good ball. He's had some, they just go away from sometimes.
He's had some misses with Pat the last couple weeks too. They shouldn't have had bigger games.
Yeah, he's playing better football.
Which is weird to see, but yeah.
I'm gonna say Travis plays well, but I think Xavier Worthy has his best game of his season. I do.
I like it.
I'll dare to say I think that he flirts with 100 yards in this game. I think there's a couple big plays that he has in this one, where it's either like the jet sweep stuff, where he just gets out in space, they block for him, because having a left tackle is going to open up a lot of opportunities for him to do things.
Yeah. And
I think there's going to be like a 40-50 yard bomb that Patrick hits him on, where you finally see that ball finally connecting in, man, because it's been a long time since they've really connected on it, whether it's been Xavier running out of bounds or Patrick throwing him out of bounds. It doesn't matter. They both have been guilty on a couple things.
Yeah, and I'm glad we agree on that. But this also is a great spot, just to throw it in there. Obviously, D-Hop's always a threat, but this is a great opportunity for D-Hop to have a big game too. So he has a big explosive game too, because we saw they could not stop Drake London over the middle.
Right.
He was eating on that, like the big slot receiver. That's kind of what D-Hop does a lot. He plays like a big slot role kind of lot, but he can play everywhere. Obviously, you can put him anywhere, but you put him in the slot over the middle against those corners and those safeties. Drake London was eating them.
Right.
I mean, they couldn't finish drives, obviously, but Drake London was doing his thing against them, and Kirk was just awful. But you get Pat and D-Hop over the middle consistently, I think we're going to move the chains a lot with D-Hop. And Kelce as well, and Noah Gray. Don't forget Noah Gray, man. The guy's had, a letdown game last week, but he didn't get much work. But Noah Gray's always a threat to have big games, I think, at this point now, too. He's becoming that secondary tight end key player for our offense. So I think I just think this is I'm glad we're locking step here with Xavier. I think this is a great moment for him to build on, because he's already got the confidence he can beat these guys.
Quite frankly, he needs it, because before the playoffs, when Hollywood Brown comes back, we know that Hollywood's going to get a lot of snaps.
Sure.
If Xavier shows over this next month that he's taking a step forward, he's going to stay on the field a lot. And he's a first-round pick. You got to remember,
his snaps are consistently going up.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we know that when Hollywood Brown gets back, the Chiefs are going to implement him in this offense immediately, because that's a veteran that you just plug and play. But Xavier, if he shows, like let's say in the next 4 games,
I think he's been showing. He's been looking better.
But okay, let's say in the next 4 games, Xavier Worthy has 230 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to stay on the field no matter what.
We know that. He's always a threat to score.
Right.
It's just can he? It's really his awareness. That's his biggest. That's a rookie. Every rookie's got their little. We've seen guys like Malik Neighbors and other guys have issues. They're all rookies, right? His rookie mistakes and mishaps tend to be just spatial awareness.
Right.
He's incredible at creating space between him and the defenders. He's incredible at finding the end zone. We all know the kid just has a nose for the end zone. It's just, can you stay in bounds? Can you drag that toe at the right time? Can you get that timing down with Pat? Once they start clicking, it could be this week to where they really have an absolute explosive game. Since the Ravens game where he just lit them up, I think this could be another similar performance where he has to, like you said, the rushing yards as well, some jet sweeps, so maybe he scores on a rush and a catch. This just feels like a great blow-up spot for Xavier Worthy. I know we've been calling for that for weeks. He's slowly getting more targets, more work, more snaps. And I think the kid's confidence continues to rise. I think Pat's confidence continues to rise in him as well. And I think this is a great spot for him. But what is your defensive player, bro?
So we talk about the pass rush and how important it's got to be moving forward, and in this matchup in particular, they need to have Chris Jones, George 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾𝙳𝙴, Charles 𝙭, these guys moving. I feel that there's a forgotten, unsung hero in this defense because to his chagrin, he's been pretty bad this year, dealing with injuries, things like that.
Oh yeah, I like this call.
But this guy is a guy that I like to call the Charger Killer.
I like it.
Because he has 18.5 career sacks.
He took them ribs from Herbert last year.
And he has 5 of his career sacks. 5 of his 18.5 sacks are against the Chargers.
Had that full
He
slab.
shows up against Justin Herbert. He likes to dominate Justin
This is
Herbert.
true.
Maybe he's into blondes. I don't know. The point is,
Shy blondes.
Yeah, he likes shy, tall blondes. And they got muscles. He's into that. That's his thing. And Mike Dana, I think, is going to be an X factor in this game.
That's a good call.
I think that Mike Dana is a guy that has been waiting all year long to finally have a game, and I think he has a game this week. I think he has a sack and a half. Him and Chris Jones split one, or him and Karlaftis, whoever. And I think he has a big, like a monumental sack in this game, where it's like a strip sack late in the game, kind of defines the win, kind of shores the game up for the Chiefs. The Chiefs, kneel after that. They get the ball back, and on the 20-yard line, the game's over.
Yeah,
up by 10. Whatever. I think that Mike Dana is the X factor in this one.
We could help him out a whole lot if we get a nice little lead and we force him to throw more.
That's what I'm saying.
More dropbacks, more chance you get from Mike Dana to go make plays.
Well, I think this is a week where Justin's going to have to throw the ball more just because the fact, J.K. Dobbins is out.
Yeah,
so
Gus Edwards has been awful.
Exactly. Yeah. So look for Mike Dana to make a stamp on this one, man, because that's just what he does against the Chargers.
That's
it's just
true.
He has their number. So I'm gonna stick with Mike Dana on that one. And Trevor and I are lockstep on Xavier Worthy having himself a game. Let us know who you guys have as far as your X factors this one, guys. We'd love to hear from you guys, whether it's both offensively, both defensively, or one of each. Doesn't matter. Just let us know. Trevor, what is the score for this game, man?
All right, so I think I said that I don't think that they will score much more than 17. I think 20 is the max points I think the Chargers get here, just because I just don't like their offense, and their offense just hasn't proven that they can go put up points and go toe-for-toe with good offenses, because they've yet to really face any good offenses.
Right.
But I'm going to say, I know you said that it's more likely that we have a blowout than a loss. And I was in kind of a disagreement with you on that. But I think we win by 10 points here. I think we win 27-17.
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs can go put up some points because I think, like I said, the Xavier Worthy factor here, I think he can go have a couple tutties. I think D-Hop can eat over the middle a lot because they don't have a matchup that can stay with D-Hop. They just don't. D-Hop's old. He's not fast, but his ability to create space, make the tough catches, and just sun all those smaller corners out there, because their corners are not big and they're not physical enough to really go up there and deal with the D-Hop. So I think there's a lot of mismatches that are in our favor for our offense. And I think the Chiefs can go put up some points. I think we could push for 30, but I'm going to say 27-17.
I'm gonna almost completely agree with you on that as well. And I'm gonna take it a step further. I don't think the Chargers get 2 touchdowns in this game. I think they get 1 touchdown and 3 field goals.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the Chiefs win this game 27-16. Just because the fact, if Ladd McConkey was playing, I think they could reach 20 points.
Trying to one-up me?
Yeah. I guess I would honestly, I'd pick this game.
We win by 11, not 10.
Before I knew the Chiefs were going to win this game, or before I knew that they were Ladd McConkey was out, I had the Chiefs winning this game by 4, covering the spread.
I highly doubt Ladd's playing.
Yeah, covering the spread. I doubt he plays. I think that's going to be a mass because Ladd McConkey actually in man coverage has been the best receiver in the NFL.
Been so good this year.
He's been unreal.
He's going to have 1,000 yards receiving most likely this year too. The kid's been great.
He's a stud, man. I kind of wish the Chiefs would win his way, but I'm down.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Exactly,
maybe they'll show in this game why they went with Xavier.
Exactly.
But I do think the Chiefs do score points in this one because I do think the Chargers defense is a tad bit overrated. I do think the Chiefs offense is going to start clicking into gear. Now they actually have a complete offensive line. Yep. They have their two-headed monster out of the backfield. Dude, I think Isaiah Pacheco's going to have a good game in this one. Kareem Hunt's going to be a little bit more rested. I think they're going to give him a little bit of a break now.
Yeah.
Probably get him like 10 to 12 touches.
I think we run more in the red zone here too. I think
Pacheco's going to run a lot.
Pacheco and Kareem Hunt both could score in the red zone.
Pacheco's had essentially 2 months off.
Yeah,
he had a week last week. Looked incredible. He looked great last week.
That 15-yard run looked awesome, and then
he's averaging 7 yards a carry.
We kind of didn't let him touch the ball again. After
I think they go back to that. I think they go back to that. The Chargers have a mediocre rush defense. I think they're like 14th or 15th in the league. You can run on them. And I think the Chiefs are a very balanced attack in this game. I think Patrick flirts with like 270 passing yards, couple touchdowns. But Pacheco, I think, rushes for like 65, 70 yards again. Kareem sprinkles in another 30 or 40, and they just do their thing. And
the Chargers are a team that are great. They're great at what they do, and we're pretty good at this too, at having time of possession. We've been really good at it this year.
Chiefs been a lot better than it.
Sure. But we just haven't. Both teams have struggled to put touchdowns on the board.
Right.
Because we will hold the ball. We'll have 17 play drives, and we'll go down there and we'll get to the 5 and settle for a field goal. That is so infuriating. Both of his teams have done that. Obviously, we've been in the red zone more than they have because our offense is just playing out better. I think as long as because I know the Chargers are going to keep the ball away from us for a while too. They're going to have their time of possession because they tend to run it a lot. Granted, we'll stop the run. That could change the game. If they try to change the pace of the game and we take over, it doesn't really matter what they do. But as long as we're scoring touchdowns and not settling for field goals, this game could get away from the Chargers very, very quickly, and I expect us to win comfortably.
If the Chiefs just score 3 touchdowns in this game, they win. If they score 3 touchdowns in this game, because the Chargers are not scoring 3 touchdowns in this game.
I agree.
3 touchdowns win you this game against the Chargers. So I'm going to say the Chiefs get a couple additional field goals because they're not going to be perfect in the red zone. I think they do score 3 red zone touchdowns.
Just play a clean game, man. No turnovers. Run a balanced offense. Get Kareem Hunt and Pacheco some work. Get some quick touches to your speedy receiver, Xavier Worthy. Let Kelsey get some plays on when they break down and protect Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Keep his jersey clean.
Yeah.
That is a winning formula, bro.
Xavier Worthy, I think Xavier Worthy scores a touchdown. I'm going to say Isaiah Pacheco scores a touchdown, and I'm going to say D-Hop gets a touchdown.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to say Travis Kelce, but I think...
I was going to say anybody, man. I think there's a lot of bad matchups for this defense, the Chargers defense, so, yeah.
All right, well, it's perfect time for you guys to start relaying us your takes, your questions, your comments, your concerns, because it is time for Speak It. Hopefully you guys got more questions in there while we were talking our asses off. Trevor, what are the people wanting to know?
So far we only have 3 in here. So if you guys, while we're answering these questions, if not, I mean, it is what it is. We'll have a quick, efficient day today, but we got 3 questions so far. So get some more in if you guys have any more for me that comes up, that crawls up to your old noggins there. Dustin Orton, though, has a question. Speak It. What do you think has been the biggest cause for the Bengals' downfall? Also, Matt Van Verderam mentioned Bengals should trade Chase like we did Hill. Think they will?
No, because the Bengals
There has been some rumors about that.
First of all, the Bengals aren't... Do I think they will? No. Do I think they should? No. Because I don't think that the Bengals are the same team the Chiefs are.
They would lose their freaking fan base if they traded.
Guys, yeah, and look at it like this.
They would lose
look at it like this. The whole reason Jamar Chase was even taken because the Bengals actually wanted Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
The whole reason they took Jamar Chase in that trade was why? In that draft, yes, because Joe Burrow and him are teammates. Yep. And they have been one of the best, if not the best duo in the league since that day.
You pay that man.
You pay Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
And the biggest reason why on the scenario of trading him is, one, you don't have Brett Veach.
Well, and it's different. They don't have championships either.
Right.
The Chiefs already were champions when they traded Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, the Chiefs would have traded Tyreek Hill before winning titles. They'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
We already proved that we can win championships.
Yeah.
Bro.
So my point in this is, guys, I think that Jamar Chase would give them a haul. But do you really have any belief that Bengals, I don't even know who their GM is. Do you have any belief that GM would be able to kill the draft like Brett V? Go look at that
It's a poverty franchise.
Go look at that 2022 draft that the Chiefs got with those 5 picks, and look at how many hits Brett Veach got.
Yeah.
There's like 7 hits. They hit like 7 on 7 draft picks in that draft. Like, you're not doing that without Brett Veach.
Yeah.
They don't have a Brett Veach. So trading Jamar Chase is just you admitting you're cheap asses. Because the Chiefs are trying to pay Tyreek. Tyreek wanted more money. They said, well, we can win without you. We're confident that we get 5 picks in return. I don't think Jamar gives them 5 picks.
Well, and they cannot. This is why they can't trade Jamar. They're already losing T. Higgins.
Exactly.
You cannot. I mean, they could trade him and pay T. Higgins, but I don't think that's what they do.
No.
Because Jamar is obviously the better receiver.
You
T.
pay Jamar Chase.
Higgins is a close second in my mind.
What is Jamar, 24, 25 years
That's what
old?
I'm saying.
Like,
He's elite.
Come on.
He's elite, dude. You don't trade guys like that.
He's 2-3 years younger than what Tyreek Hill was.
Yeah, you would lose your fan base and possibly your quarterback.
Yeah.
Because your quarterback's already had a lot of grievances because he's played his ass off this year, and then their defenses, they've done nothing to help them on their defensive side of things.
Yeah, Dustin asked the question, what's wrong with them? You know what? I'm glad you asked, Dustin, because this is something that I specifically remember saying before the season started. And I talked to Solomon Wilcots. What happened?
Well, Dustin Orton's, I don't know, I haven't seen this confirmed yet, but Dustin Orton is saying that Hardman just got put on the IR.
Oh, shit.
I haven't seen that yet, but.
Well, that knee must be worse than we thought it was.
That's not good. I hate that. That sucks. That's a reliable weapon. Damn it. So he's not getting ready till the postseason.
Nico Remigio's on the active roster.
Okay. He's going to play some specials. He might play this week. Some special teams.
That is about as bittersweet as it gets.
That sucks. That really sucks. Fuck. All right. Hardman's been playing some good football lately, too.
Yeah, exactly. I love having Hardman out there, man.
That's frustrating. Okay. He's been a reliable returner, too.
Yep, so literally 3 minutes ago, Chiefs account tweeted out, we have signed practice squad wide receiver Nico Remigio to an active roster contract. We have activated practice squad linebacker 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾𝙳𝙴 Bozeman and tight end Baylor Cup via standard elevation. We have placed wide receiver McCole Hardman on reserve injured.
Damn it. We cannot keep healthy receivers, man.
He'll probably be back for the playoffs.
Yeah, he will, but like that's just...
Fuck.
Hopefully Remigio, I'm sure Remigio's going to be returning some kicks.
It's time, man.
Some punts.
It's time for my guy Remigio to get his shot.
Hey, we've been rooting for this kid. We want to see him do something. I mean,
Yep.
He hasn't shown much, but this is an opportunity, even if it's like in little flashes, even if it's a nice punt return. I'll take that, bro, in this game against the Chargers.
It's time for Remigio to show his worth, man.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I hate to see my guy McCole going down, though, man. That really sucks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update, though, Dustin. We wouldn't have known otherwise, man.
Yeah.
Well, we would have found out later.
That's a bummer, man. Before this game, too. That's a bummer.
But we back to the Bengals conversation. We were on Arrowhead Allies about 3 or 4 months ago. Trevor and I we were having that conversation with Solomon Wilcott's former Bengal and podcaster. He's their podcaster, and he was lambasting me because I said that I think this team has bad vibes. I think from top to bottom, you have their owner talking about how there's so many pieces of the pie that you could pay. And we just have 3 pieces of pie. He kept talking about pies. Yeah. And I'm like, well, Jamar Chase is a delicious apple pie, and you might want to keep that apple pie because that's going to help you win anything that you could possibly win if you do anything. And it looks like they don't pay T. Higgins. It looks like they're trying not to pay Jamar Chase. And I said this has created really bad vibes, and I think that you see Trey Hendrickson requesting a trade before the season started. That tells me that this team is not in a good place. And I told Solomon Wilcott's that, and he laughed in my face and thought it was silly for me to even suggest that. And now they're missing the playoffs, and they already have 8 losses. Yeah. So I think that was correct. There's bad vibes on this team. And bad vibes do matter. Vibes do matter.
I think there's a good chance they lose to the Cowboys this week, too.
I think they do lose the Cowboys. I picked the Cowboys.
Cowboys have been playing pretty good football the last couple weeks.
For me, it's just it's a team that has, and I know everyone tries to make poor Joe Burrow. He's been so great, and this team just keeps losing him games. And then I go and I watch the actual games, and I see that Joe Burrow throws a horrible pick, or he fumbles the ball and ends up going back for 7. There's been multiple opportunities for Joe Burrow to not lose games for his team, and he does just that. How about their home opener against the Patriots when Joe Burrow put up fucking 10 points?
Yeah.
How about when they were beating the Chiefs and driving, he fumbles the ball and Shamari Connor houses that bitch and loses the game?
That was fun.
How about against the Chargers when even though Joe Burrow put up numbers, had late game turnovers? That's where Joe Burrow deserves criticism. And you know why Joe Burrow deserves criticism more than anything, Trevor? Is because he put it on himself. Remember we talked about this on the show.
Yeah,
he goes,
the whole team put it
as
on
long as I'm here, our window's open. Yeah. Really? That's interesting.
They're the team to beat.
That's it. Yeah, it's interesting because Joe's having one of his best, maybe his best statistical season, and they're the worst they've ever been. Yeah, that's weird how that works. So
no one's gonna remember this, Joe. No one's gonna remember this season. All your stats, all your numbers. No one's gonna care.
Weird
because you didn't win shit. So, and I also wanted to point this comment out real quick. Our guy Brent, is it really that bad? Hardman is an average returner and doesn't do much on offense. Disagree. Hardman he's. You can say average, that's fine, but he's also one of those glue guys that has the chemistry and built-in trust with Patrick Mahomes, and those kind of guys are very valuable in this team. And Hardman has had, pretty big moments in this season already for us at times. When we need a reliable guy to make a catch, or he's had some good returns this season too. So Hardman's just one of those guys you want to have on your roster. That's reliable and trustworthy. And having those guys, we don't have a lot of those guys on this team right now. So. Valuable.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Trevor, but the Chiefs traded to go get McCole Hardman back last season, correct? And then kept him this year?
Yep.
McCole Hardman has helped the Chiefs win 3 Super Bowls, correct?
Sealed the deal last year.
I don't need to sit here and explain why McCole Hardman's a valuable piece of this team. I'm done doing that. Yeah. I'm done doing that. He's done it himself. And me and McCole have had conversations in our DMs and stuff, and I tell him about how much I respect this dude and I love the guy to death. Yeah. One of these days we'll have him on the show.
One of the best teammates Patrick Mahomes ever.
Yes.
For sure.
He's one of Patrick's best friends. Him and Taylor Swift and his girlfriend, Travis Kelce, they're all tight as hell. Yep. The point I'm making is he has already proven his worth here. I don't need to sit here and talk about, Does he really matter? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. There's a reason why this team keeps around guys like him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and guys like that. They're staple guys. Yeah. They're glue guys. They make big plays in big moments, and they're dudes that, quite frankly, the franchise players love. You don't need to explain it beyond that. Sometimes you just have dudes like that. And he's not an all-pro player. He never will be. He's never going to be a special, great player. But you have to have the others, and the others is what McColl is. Mm-hmm. So I don't need to explain his value, because his value is there, man. He's a 3-time champ. Give the man some respect.
Yep. Agreed. Dustin Orton, Noah Gray, or Kelce this game?
I think it's more Travis Kelce. Look, Noah Gray's been, and look, it won't shock me at all if Noah Gray has a better game.
I was going to say, if it comes down to the two having a big game, I'm going to go Noah Gray here.
Are you okay?
Because the secondary option, I think there's going to be so much focus on stopping Travis Kelce. And this game is going to open up so many opportunities. I mean, dude, you said a few weeks ago, back-to-back games with 2 touchdown games for Noah Gray. I think you can have another great opportunity to do that when the focus is so much on Travis Kelce. And you know the history between Derwin James and Travis Kelce and the back and forth that they have and the battles that they've had over their careers. There's going to be a lot of focus on Travis Kelce. So I think Noah Gray is definitely primed for another big spot here as well. And they struggle against tight ends, right? So, I mean, over the middle, a lot of over the middle stuff, they struggle. And Noah's been really good after the catch, too. So when it comes to the red zone, he's been a guy, he's one of the few guys, honestly, in this offense so far this year has been pretty consistent at scoring touchdowns in the red zone and being reliable. So this could easily become a Noah Gray game again. I would not be surprised at all if he has another 2-touchdown game, because he's a forgotten guy by a lot of defenses.
But don't you think guys like Jim Harbaugh are not going to let that slide? Like, Jim Harbaugh's going to be like, look, we're going to respect this kid because this kid has 5 touchdowns this year.
You can say that, man, but like Patrick Mahomes, he's going to find the open guy.
I get it.
Noah Gray's I think going to be open a lot if there's a lot of 2 tight end sets out there, and he's slippery. When it comes to if they're going to play zone, he's slippery in that zone, just like Kelce is. Obviously not as good as Kelce is finding those openings, but Pat's been finding them a lot, man, and looking for him a lot. So I can see if I'm going to pick between one of these two guys have a big blow-up game, it's going to be Noah Gray because he's had more of those already this year, which is wild, but his 2 blow-up games have been bigger than any of Kelce's games this year. You know what I mean? So Kelce hasn't had multiple touchdown games like that. So I'm going to put my money on Noah if I'm a betting man.
I like it.
The odds are, you win more money that way too. Next one from our guy Lonnie Pyramid. I know y'all touched base on this already, but what's the confidence level for Humphrey stepping in?
It's immense. And let me contextualize by saying that I'm not sitting here expecting him to become. And I saw our guy Clay Windler talking about how at training or practice he's giving like Willie Roaf type headaches. I'm not doing that. I appreciate the optimism from our guy Clay, and I appreciate that from other people. I'm not doing that. First of all, Willie Roaf is one of the 5 greatest left tackles to ever play this game. I'm not ever going to compare DJ Humphries to him.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I do think this guy brings immense value to this team simply because of the fact that he's an actual true left tackle, a guy that knows how to play in this league, knows how to protect a quarterback at a high level. And if he's 75-80% of what he once was just a year ago, then the Chiefs upgraded significantly at the left tackle position. I mean, shit, you could have got me and Trevor to train for 3 months, and we probably would have been upgrades at left tackle from what they've had. So I think that DJ Humphries is everything this team needs. He is a godsend, in my opinion. I think he's an absolute difference maker and could be the difference between the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl and not winning a Super Bowl.
And I think he's been in the plans for the Chiefs all season long.
You're probably right, because as soon as they found out he was healthy, what happened?
You don't think the Chiefs have been in contact with him and his agent all offseason?
Come on.
Knowing that he's recovering, knowing that he's just floating out there, a guy that can easily step in and be a legitimate Pro Bowl caliber starter for this team?
Come on, yeah.
Veach has been on that shit, I think, all offseason, all season so far. And I think this was something that was planned and ready to go all along. So I love it. I'm very confident in the kid, or the guy. I always keep calling him the kid because he's like a newcomer, so it feels like I want to call him a kid.
He's younger than us.
He's in my age group. He's 30. But yeah, I'm very confident in Humphries. I mean, the Humphries duo, Creed Humphrey and Humphrey Humphries law firm on the front offensive line. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, Mac 10 with the next question. Speak it in the 10-day span where they play 3 games, which is Browns, Texans, and Steelers. Which game worries you? I say Pittsburgh because of that pass rush, and the Steelers' offense is pretty decent.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Russ has been balling.
I think it's actually the Browns. The reason why is
they're wild. Bro.
Yeah, they have a reckless abandon to them.
Yeah.
Those are the types of teams that can play spoiler.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs have been known to lose to teams like that from time to time. Just reckless abandoned teams that go out there and play with confidence. Jameis gives that team a zest. There's something about him that just uplifts a bad team.
He's fun to play for.
Yes,
Yeah.
like he has that belief and the trust of his teammates.
Gave Jerry Jeudy the game
Now-
of his life last week.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that we need to pay attention to Myles Garrett's hamstring.
Sure.
If Myles Garrett can't play or plays at a much lower level, then obviously I'm not as worried about that game. But I'm going to be real with you. The only thing that worries me about the Steelers game is the short amount of time between that game and the Texans game. That's the only thing that really, or is it the Browns game? Is it the Browns then Steelers? I forget.
Shoot.
I want to know. I'm going to check that real quick.
I think it's Steelers and Browns.
Somebody's probably screaming at us right now while they're watching this. So yeah, we have the
Browns, Texans, and I think it's Browns, Texans, and Steelers.
Okay, so Texans then Steelers.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that worries me about that game is the 4-day window because the Steelers are a physical team.
We got to go through the Browns, Texans before we even get to the Steelers,
Right.
so we could be.
But
yeah.
I this might sound kind of weird, but I love the fact the Chiefs are playing the Steelers in Pittsburgh. The Chiefs are
We like that raucous environment,
I like the Chiefs better as a road team.
bro. I mean,
I do.
this team thrives on the road.
Business trips to this team, it's different.
We're a back against the wall kind of team. It gives us because we're so, like you said, we're bored.
Right.
So when we get some kind of like challenge and things feel like we might be maybe losing a little bit, we like, oh shit, we got to wake up.
Right.
Then we kind of tap back into that championship mentality, and it brings something out of us. That's why the road victories last postseason was just an incredible watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Like some of their highest scoring games this year have been on the road. Like for instance, 28 points at San Francisco, 27 points at Las Vegas, 30 points at Carolina.
Like
like
more on the road.
You know what I mean? Like for some reason, this offense seems to really kind of click on the road. I like when the Chiefs have their backs against the wall. Like you said, like when they feel like they're in a hostile environment, they kind of react to it really well, and I like that a lot. I think the Chiefs really get off on silencing the crowd, and we know that Pittsburgh fans are nuts.
Yeah.
Them terrible towels be waving all over the place. They're gonna be cheering that team on to beat the Chiefs. But I'm telling you guys right now, when Russell Wilson's trying to throw 14 moon balls, you know, and
he's been awesome this year, man.
He's been good.
He's been awesome.
They've also benefited off playing some shit teams. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Their defense has been leaky.
Yeah, Jameis Winston threw 500
I
yards on him.
He threw a couple pick sixes, I think, against them, or a pick six.
Those are just bad throws.
Yeah, but he was darting them.
Exactly,
Yeah.
dude. Like that's what I'm
Their
saying.
secondary's been really leaky. Their pass rush is great. Don't even get it twisted.
Don't even get it twisted.
Yeah, their
But
pass rush.
you don't think
great.
the Chiefs are fully aware of whoever the fuck TJ Watt is?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
And Highsmith's still banged up too.
This is true.
So
Red Tribe Sentiment in the chat says,
Yeah.
time for your boy Remigio to shine, Lance.
that's right, baby. Look, it's bittersweet as fuck because it comes at the cost of losing my other boy, 𝚂𝙿𝙾𝙺.
Yeah.
But I am excited about this, man, and it's hard not to be because Nico Remigio has some stuff that I don't believe McCool has.
Oh, he's got more juice than McColl.
He's a better route runner.
He's got more juice.
He's got better hands. I think that there's Nico is just such an unproven commodity.
He's very Albert Wilson.
Yes,
Very
I
likable
really
player. Yeah.
and he's a hell of a special teams player.
Good athlete.
You know, so I like this opportunity for him late in the year when the Chiefs might actually count on him a couple times. You know, a couple drawn up slot plays. Like I'm not sitting here saying this dude's gonna come out here and light the scoreboard up, but I want to see
put
him.
some money on him to score touchdowns.
I want to see Nico on a 3rd and 6 get a slant pattern right up the middle, catches it, takes a big hit, and gets up and does the first down. Like that's what I want to see more. If I see that from Nico and he gets a shot, takes a shot, holds onto the ball on a big play, that's when the trust comes in. That's when Andy's like, okay, I saw it now. Now I know that I can utilize him more often, get him in some motions, you know, things like that. Start utilizing him.
Juice,
because even though he's young and unproven, has never played an NFL game, he's an experienced player as far as with this team. He knows the system very well. Been with the team now 3 years.
Practice squad for several years.
Yeah, like he knows the system. He's 24, 25 years old now. I'm stoked. I am stoked. I'm keeping my expectations low, but just the thought of getting Nico on the field now, it's kind of like how a lot of fans were feeling about Justin Ross. This is my Justin Ross.
Sure.
This is my dude of like, man, I want to see him get his chance. And so I'm rooting for the dude. I hate that it comes at the cost of McColl, but that's usually how it goes, honestly. When you're a practice squad player, you're next man up. So there was really no other way of this happening, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited. Hopefully he gets a shot. And I think it'll be primarily special teams, but I would like to see him get maybe, like you said, a quick slant over the middle or something like that.
Take a big hit and just get up,
move the chains on a play, get a first down. That'd be pretty sweet.
Fire the team up, you know, be that because you know everybody's rooting for him.
Oh, dude,
this is a guy that everybody's wanted to see be great.
Yeah, he was a camp darling. You know, he's a guy that was getting a lot of attention coming into the season.
Right,
it didn't really work out, but. You know, us bringing back McColl and all that too, trading him for him and all that kind of just overshadowed a lot of what his his flame was.
This is his chance. And this might be his only chance.
Yeah, and against a divisional foe would be no better opportunity for him to
might be it
do
for
something,
Nico.
make a play, even if it's a good return.
Right.
And it's like a 40-yard punt return or something like that. That'd
Just
be
be
cool
a net
as hell.
positive. Just be a net positive.
Root for the kid. Hopefully, I just hope to see him on the field. That'd be
Right.
cool.
Oh, I think he'll play some snaps. He'll play some snaps.
Mac 10, what is your guys' final four for championship weekend? I don't even know, bro.
Wait, like for the NCAA? Like
I'm guessing
college football?
I'm guessing it's college football because the playoffs are getting ready.
Well,
we got bowl games and stuff.
Look, man, I think the only for sure teams,
I don't keep up with it enough.
The only for sure teams in college football that I see with the Final Four, and maybe I haven't seen the updates yet of who the 12 teams are, the 12 teams that have made it.
Yeah.
But the teams that are without question, in my mind, are Oregon, Texas, Boise State, and Georgia. I mean, I know Georgia lost an upsetting loss and everything, but I mean, I think they have 3 losses in 3 years. Like Georgia, I think Georgia deserves to be up there. I know I'm forgetting somebody, but yeah, for sure, Oregon. They haven't lost all year. They're the best team in college football. What's it called San Diego? Did I say San Diego or Boise State?
Yeah, Boise.
Boise State, Texas for sure. And God, I gotta really think about that.
He said for the NFL.
The final.
Oh, Final Four for like between the
conference championships?
Conference championships. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it really depends, man. We got a lot of football left. Our original prediction, I'm sticking to a lot of them. Well, actually, we have ours written down. Trey, I don't know if you still have yours or not.
Yeah, I do.
Let me check that so I can give you the exact truth. I don't want to give you any like false bullshit.
Mine are going to be wrong because my AFC was Jets Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's not going to happen. So,
although that's not.
Yeah, so Jets Chiefs isn't going to happen. I believe it was Rams Lions in my NFC prediction, which that could still very well happen. I think that's still a likely one. I still like the Rams. I still think they have a nice run left in them to make a run here. But the Eagles look so scary. The Eagles could end up being the best team in the NFC. Packers still got a lot of juice in my opinion too. They can make a nice run. But I'm gonna stick with my prediction. It was not in the AFC, but in the AFC, I'm gonna probably say Chiefs and. I'm gonna say Chiefs Bills, man. I'm gonna say history keeps going with that matchup. I think Chiefs Bills makes a lot of sense for the AFC Championship game, as those two teams left in the AFC, and then the NFC. I'm gonna go Lions Rams with the Rams winning that game. Those are my two.
I have no idea where my.
Well, what do you think now? Like, what do you think now? Like, forget what we had predicted at the beginning of the year. Mine,
I had Chiefs Jets as well in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
That obviously not happening. If I was to make a bet right now on the AFC side of things, I would probably say, yeah.
I mean, we had the Rams in the Super Bowl, right? So, I mean, you'd have the Rams in the AFC or the NFC Championship game, right?
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Rams.
Yeah. So I had Rams Lions.
I'm not wavering from the Rams. I think they're going to shock some people, dude.
It could very well be Rams Eagles though, because the Eagles are just a force right now.
Yeah, I'm going to say
not that the Lions aren't, but Eagles are scary.
This might shock you. Because
AFC or
AFC side of things. This might shock you, but I think the Chiefs and Steelers AFC Championship. I like the Steelers defense a lot, like you do, and I think that they have the run game to beat a team like the Bills.
Their defense has been kind of letting them down a little bit lately.
I know, but you would in a postseason with Mike Tomlin, knowing how to
situational football.
I might go Steelers, Chiefs Steelers in the AFC Championship.
I would love that because we would beat their ass.
I can't get my arms around the Bills.
Dude, the Bills are good, bro.
Yes, but Trevor, against
they're a good balanced offense. They run the ball well.
They've beaten one good team all year.
I get it, but
like they have been salivating all of these bad hurt teams. Like against the Niners, we knew that was going to happen because
But the Bills have always been that, even when they were in the multiple times. Even when we met them multiple times in the AFC Championship, they've always been that. But listen, dude, Josh Allen is an all-world talent. Josh Allen is a guy that will win games single-handedly, and he's done it several times throughout his career, even in the postseason.
He's also shit his pants in the postseason.
If the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Bills meet up, and they're the matchup, whoever wins that faces us, I'm putting my money on the Bills.
The NFC side of things is the more interesting one. That's way more interesting.
Oh, yeah, dude. Teams are getting on fire.
I'm going to say right now, my conference championship is going to be Eagles-Rams.
I like it.
I don't like the Lions.
Yeah.
They're very fun.
Yeah.
But I don't like their...
They're too risky.
I like Dan Campbell. I don't like Dan Gamble.
Yeah.
I don't like Dan Gamble. He turns into Dan Gamble too fucking much.
Yeah.
And I think
Some Ron Rivera shit.
Yeah. So I do think that you're going to see like an Eagles, a more disciplined team like the Eagles and Sean McVay with the Rams. Yes, going there, a massive upset. You know, I guarantee you right now, if the Lions and Rams face in the playoffs, Lions would be a 7-point favorite.
Oh, 7.5.
Yeah,
probably.
And it'd be in Detroit.
Yeah,
and I would pick the Rams.
Yeah, give me the better quarterback.
The Rams had multiple opportunities these last 2 times to beat them.
Yeah, they have a ring, man. They've done it.
And they're healthy finally. Yeah. And that young defense with Braden Fisk and those dudes up front.
Dude, Stafford on the road in Detroit, how poetic.
They almost won last year, remember? Yeah, it was 23-20.
Yeah, but this Rams team's more healthy at this point.
I know, man.
They have all their, Puka's healthy.
Right. So I know that sounds nuts right now, guys, but hear me out. I think the Rams are in the NFC Championship again, and if I'm going to stick with my prediction, I'm going to predict that the Rams find a way to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that as well.
I'm sticking with it. I know right now they're not this great team, this world beater. They're not even in the playoffs right now. They're 6-6. They're the 8. They're in the playoffs. No, they're not. They're not. They're the
Rams?
The wild card right now is wild card now is the Vikings, Packers,
yeah.
and Washington.
Yeah.
But see, I think the
Washington's they're kind of falling back a little bit.
Right. I think that Seattle's going to fall down because they're a game ahead of the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win their division.
I think Seattle wins this week, so the Rams got to win this week too.
I think the Rams win their division.
The Rams got to beat the Bills this week, dude.
Let's see, the Rams. Yeah, and they're going to beat the Bills.
I like it. Yeah.
They have. Let's see. They have the Bills at San Francisco, who are banged up and they're done. Yeah. At Jets, they're done. Cardinals, I don't believe in them. And then they have the Seahawks, which could be the game that decides the season. And it's at L.A.
The Seahawks been playing good football, though. That defense is coming.
Yes, they have. I like the Rams in that matchup.
That defense is good.
I like Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams.
Oh, dude. That's a scary matchup for any defense.
And then if you look at the Seattle Seahawks, their remaining schedule, at Cardinals, Green Bay, Vikings, Bears,
I think they beat the Cardinals.
Rams. I think they lose 2 more games.
Yeah.
So,
come on, Rams. I want Stafford Mahomes Super Bowl, bro. That'd be fucking epic.
Yep. I like it.
So we don't have another question, but it is a question from our guy Shaggy Shane.
Yo.
Without going into great detail about his absence, were you both surprised that CH was active and in uniform for the Christmas love story on Hallmark? That's a great question, dude. Shaggy with the banger to end it. A little tongue-in-cheek there, Shags.
Oh, man, you're one of a kind, bro. You're one of a kind. I honestly have not watched that movie. I'm probably never going to.
Yeah, man.
Well, at least I'm never going to admit it to you guys because I don't want to let you guys know that I watch Lifetime Hallmark movies. But, yeah, power to him, bro, for being available for that movie.
Suited up. Yeah. Suited and booted, baby. Thank you for that, Shaggy. Appreciate you. Love you.
We appreciate all you guys, man. Making us laugh, making us cry, do whatever you guys got to do, man. You make this show fun. You make it what it is. And Speaking is definitely an absolute microcosm of that. You guys show that here more than any other time of the show by taking it over. And we would not want the show any other way. I remember we used to do the show without it. And I look back, I'm like, man, how did we have fun when we make the viewing audience, listening audience just kind of sit back? That's just so wrong. Like, you guys need to be a part of the show. So we very much appreciate you guys jumping in every single week and being a part of what we do here because it's just not the same. It was just Trevor and I doing this on our own. So with that said, Trevor, there is one more order of business to attend to. What is it called? Hold this L. Each and every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, whoever is holding the L in the world of sports deserve that L in that motherfucking sport. Trevor, who's holding the L for you this week?
All right, so I'm not going to go into too much detail because I think your L is maybe in line with mine as well, but mine's going to be on a different side of this topic with the Aziz Al-Shahir hit on Trevor Lawrence. My L is not going to go towards him or what his social media posts are because I'm sure we'll get to that here in a minute. My L is going to go towards Tom Brady, towards all these talking heads, ex-defensive players, even some local radio hosts that I've heard talk about the situation, ex-defensive players, basically downplaying the significance of this brutal attack on another human being, bro, if we're being honest right now. And you can call me soft, you can call me whatever, I don't really care. That was an absolute dirty hit, an intent to hurt someone, to take someone out of a game, to intentionally harm another human being. It was a completely avoidable hit. There's no excuse for that. There's no defending that, in my personal opinion. And you have the likes of Tom Brady coming out with quotes like, if we don't want these hits to take place, we got to penalize both the offense and the defense, Brady said about quarterbacks sliding late. That would make sense if Trevor Lawrence slid late. Trevor Lawrence gave himself up. and he was already officially down when you are officially down when the slide begins.
Yep.
His ass was already on the ground before he even got contacted. So I don't want to hear any more of that. I don't want to hear the him sidebar trying to roast Patrick Mahomes, also talking about guys tiptoeing down the sidelines and setting up other quarterbacks to take late hits because of guys like that try to tiptoe down the sidelines and extend plays with their feet, and knowing that they had the leverage with the officials. Blah blah blah. That was a terrible hit. It was a late hit, and the people that are out here defending it, trying to talk about, because I know, and I've even heard local radio hosts in this city talking about how they were trying to defend it and say, that's just it. That wasn't a dirty play. The quarterback's got to get down. Blah blah blah. You're a runner. You're a running back. Once you're running the ball, no, you're not. Quarterbacks are not running backs. If they're sliding, they're giving themselves up. That is a play, very common play. Every week we see it. There's no excuse for what happened. There's no excuse for dive bombing your head and your elbow into someone's neck and chin area. Yep. Unacceptable. You're trying to permanently harm someone. He could have permanently harmed Trevor. This is not Trevor Lawrence's first concussion. Concussions started to rack up. You're talking about the end of someone's career, right? This wasn't a Tua situation. Tua is terrible at getting down. If Tom Brady wants to talk about someone who's a good example of what he's talking about, Tua's your guy. Because Tua's dove forward and tried to take all he's not knowing how to, he's been awful about getting down. Trevor Lawrence was doing a textbook slide. And someone went for his head and made contact with his head very aggressively, and it is what it is. It was a very dirty play, and I honestly question the integrity of anyone trying to defend that. That's just crazy to me. We could talk about the old school way and the old school way. Yeah, we could talk about the CTE league of those latter year. Right. Cool. No, a lot of those guys can't even walk right anymore. A lot of those guys can't think right. A lot of those guys are, you have to eat through a tube. You know what I mean? So if you want to go back to those kind of grueling hits and, feel more machismo for your game rather than protecting our players and our athletes, we're not out here playing to get hurt. That man was trying to hurt another man. That's unacceptable, man. It just is. There's no room for that in this game anymore. It's unacceptable. We're out here playing a game. It's not that deep. So for all the people that are defending this, Tom Brady in particular, because it really felt he was like sliding Patrick Mahomes, talking about the guys tiptoeing down the sidelines, because we all know Patrick is incredible at that, and he's had some of his biggest highlights in his career are in the playoffs, doing those extending plays and taking late hits on the out of bounds and all that stuff. I just felt like he was really sliding Patrick Mahomes, and also too, on top of all that, to the people that I've heard locally trying to defend the player here that did the late hit on Trevor Lawrence. If that was Patrick Mahomes,
yeah, exactly, this
city would be in an absolute uproar. If Patrick Mahomes had to go in the IR because of that kind of hit, this city would want that man's head. Stop lying to yourself. Stop doing this. The bias is unreal here. I know I would. I would want that man's head on a stake, bro. We've seen Patrick get hurt by hip drop tackles. Right. We wanted that man decapitated publicly.
He can still eat a dick.
Yeah, so Arden, that's what I'm saying. So we wanted that man decapitated publicly, right? We wanted that man's head. So stop playing yourself. Stop lying to yourself. We all know that was a dirty ass hit. There's no room for that in this league. So Tom Brady, all the talking heads amongst the media, local media, across the state, the nation that's been trying to defend this shit, all these defensive players that are trying to defend this shit, there's no place for that in this league. It was an absolute dirty hit. So all y'all can do me a favor and hold yourself.
Yeah, to piggyback off right where you're at, man, I'm going to take this to the other side of this whole situation, because we've all at one point in our lives fucked up, and there's no really other way of putting it. Aziz Al-Shahir fucked up. He made a really, really big mistake in this, and I don't really understand how anybody can take the other side of this. I really don't. It's very shocking, quite frankly, disappointing to hear former players, current players, and people that watch this game like Trevor and I do see it from such a different point of view. But, Aziz, I thought, did the right thing initially after the game, where he wrote that whole thing out and said, like, hey, man, I wasn't trying to hurt Trevor Lawrence, even though I don't believe that. Like, he at least made some sort of an apology. He tried to make amends. I can respect that to a certain degree. What I don't respect at all is when a grown man will say something like that and then a day or two later just go completely against it and make it into basically just a joke by then trying to play the victim or the sympathy card in what turns him into his villain origin story, if you will, by posting, if we go ahead and put that on the screen real quick, Trevor, it's the most pathetic shit I've ever seen in my life. This is 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝙀 this week, I think a day after making that apology letter to Trevor Lawrence. If you want me to be your villain, I'll be your villain, middle finger. See you soon. And it's a picture of him coming out of the tunnel, his cleats, the Joker, and a quote that says, "There is beauty in being rejected, misunderstood, unseen, and protected by people. It teaches you to rely on Allah for everything," which is clearly a religious thing. I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to get into is the irony of him using a clown to represent his clown ass. Because that's what 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝙀 is. A fucking clown. His apology meant nothing now. Because now what he's doing is he's embracing what he did. And basically saying that he doesn't give a fuck. Because of how people have reacted. I'm sorry, Trevor, but when you apologize about something and people react in a certain way and then you react emotionally, that tells me really where your emotional status was when you made the initial apology.
Exactly. This was good. All that did was confirm with me this is a male that has no control of his emotions. This is a male that doesn't have control of himself and what he says or does, or he can consistently keep a thought in his head. Because he intentionally tried to hurt someone. He intentionally hurt someone.
That's like me bumping into Trevor because we park our cars next to each other, and I bump into Trev's car, and Trevor's in the car, and it kind of hurts Trev's neck or something. And I come out, I'm like, "Oh fuck, dude, I'm so sorry," and everything. And Trevor or somebody has an emotional outburst about it. I'm like, "You know what? Then fuck you then." Like that isn't a real apology.
You're at fault.
I should still have empathy. I should still be like, "Oh, dude, I know you're angry, dude, but I'm really sorry, dude. God, dude, what, like you should still be in the place of how can I make this situation better? Not, well, then fuck you. Getting on defensive. I'm all right. You know what I'm gonna go do? I'm gonna go in my room, put on the Joker, and I'm gonna put on makeup, and I'm gonna be the enemy now. I'm a villain now. He's like a fucking 12-year-old, dude. So. For 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝙀, Tom Brady, every doofus that defended this shit, I really, my brain hurts every time I think about it because I don't know how Tom Brady went from seeing that and going, yeah, I think quarterbacks should start getting fined for this. When Tom Brady was the biggest bitch in the world with getting hit. I don't understand that at all. I would say, I'm sure, I swear to you right now,
especially for a guy
if Tom Brady was sitting right there, I'd say that to him. Like, dude,
of course.
You bitched and complained about all the fucking hits you took.
Not even that. They created a rule mid-game for the man.
Exactly, dude.
And you're going to be the one talking about
getting fined for sliding late? Oh. Yeah, how about that? Okay, you know what, Tom? Let's have a penalty for that. Let's have a penalty for, I'm acting like Tom's over here. Let's have a penalty. Hey, Tom. Yeah, Tom, listen to me real quick. 6'4", Skeletor-looking motherfucker. Dude, let's have a penalty for that, right? Let's find these guys and all that. Yeah. As long as hits like this still get guys suspended. You want to agree to that? Because that's exactly this was a right move by the NFL. Adzis was in the role.
Imagine having the take that you should penalize a quarterback for getting down just a tad late.
Dude, yes. I want Tom Brady.
So silly to me, bro.
I want Tom Brady to go into the medical room while Trevor Lawrence is getting his brain checked, and I want him to tell Trevor Lawrence to his face, "You were in the wrong."
Yeah.
Please.
It's crazy, bro. It really is crazy.
Insane, dude. And like you said, if it was Tua, bro, you got a reputation.
And we got our guy 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝙀 in the chat.
Boy, what's up, dude?
It's definitely unnecessary. Shout out to Hayden, bro. What's up? Definitely unnecessary to lay a hit like that, but it was close to me because Trevor could have initiated his slide sooner. Listen, we can break down the initiation of the slide per pixel on the screen.
Yeah.
Cool. Go watch the way that he laid the hit. He dove down towards his head, initially drove his elbow into his neck and chin area. You could easily dive that same perpetuation of your body to dive over Trevor Lawrence because you know he's sliding.
Right.
You don't need to lay the hit. He's down.
He's
already down.
That's where my problem exists as well.
Dead.
I agree with what Hayden is saying about the way that Trevor Lawrence did kind of slide in a weird way. Like he's kind of like up front and kind of just like bends down. But as you watch it in slow motion, when Trevor is literally, his knee is on the ground, his ass and knee are on the ground. Then as he's puts the arm, you see him form it. Yeah. You see it in his eyes. And I'm going to lay this motherfucker out.
People that are defending that part of it, too, no offense to Hayden,
But Hayden played football, so he knows how this stuff goes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you should know that these guys practice these kind of plays every
Sure.
day.
Yeah.
If you know you're diving at somebody, you can easily dive over someone.
No, and you're right. And if Aziz still made contact with Trevor Lawrence, but you could clearly tell there was no malicious intent. Like if he just like his chest and area like bumps into Trevor, I'm not going to sit here and kill the dude. But when you see the video from behind Trevor Lawrence's head, when Trevor starts to drop, you see Aziz forming. I mean, it looks like he's winding up to knock the dude the fuck out, and that's exactly what he did. So there's no other way of me looking at it other than he was trying to take Trevor Lawrence out. Like, I know the man's got a job because these defensive players, they're already up against it. We know that this league is offensive heavy. They want to protect the offensive guys, especially the quarterbacks, more than anything. So this is not an ideal situation for anybody. But Aziz did himself no favors by going in there and trying to take Trevor Lawrence's block off. Like I said, if there's contact made, contact's got to be made. But if when you do it the way he does and forms that arm and then swings it at Trevor Lawrence when Trevor's already on the ground, to me, that's not a bang-bang play. That is a bang-bang play that became an overly violent play that didn't have to be. Every play in the NFL is bang-bang. Let's be real.
Sure.
It's a collision sport. But there's something extra that Aziz put into the motion. That's the problem. It isn't that contact was made. It was how the contact was made, when the contact was made, and what made the contact. That's the problem. So we go on. What I hope more than anything, dude, is that Trevor Lawrence is all right.
Yeah.
That he'll be okay and make a full recovery on this. I know we probably won't see him for the rest of this season, but I hope that he can make a full recovery because brain injuries, brain trauma is a very serious fucking thing, man. And I just don't want to see it happen. Aziz is a good player, so Aziz he's gonna get back and he'll do his thing. And I wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully he learns from this. Because I don't want to see Trevor, because this game is such a great sport, I don't want to see the quality of it lessen because of stuff like this. Where we have guys like Trevor Lawrence missing large periods of time.
Right, who just got back.
Yes.
Yeah.
It already hurts the quality of the game. And like to your point, Joe, about Patrick Mahomes, if that was to happen to Patrick Mahomes, not only are we angry, but the NFL's angry because you're losing a star player. You don't want stuff like this to happen, man. I mean, shit happens, freak accidents happen, torn ACLs, things like that happen. Yeah. This, to me, was very avoidable. I think it was very avoidable, and that's just the way I see it. I know that's the way you see it as well.
You could have touched him with a finger; he'd been down. Like there's no.
So, all right. Well, that's man. We could went on for another whole half hour on that one. Hayden, my brother, thank you for jumping in, man. We love you to death, man. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit, man. We always appreciate everybody that jumps in, man. So, and we love getting opinions of former football players as well. And that's what Hayden was. I know a lot of you guys played sports. Some of you guys play Madden, so you guys can give us some. Yeah, I did every once in a while. I got pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, dude. Got pretty good. I didn't play video games for like 11 years, and them thumbs are getting back, dude. I'm just saying. I got a little 6-pack right here. But we really appreciate you guys. Thank you for jumping in the chat every single week, guys. You guys are what makes this fun. We are inching closer to 300 episodes, and we're very grateful for all you guys that make this what it is. So, for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts us all together on the back end at Red Tribe Cinema that makes this show go on the back end of stuff, man. And for all of you, again, I can't say it enough. I know I say it a bunch. For all you guys, thank you so much. I'm Lance Twidwell for the entire Starcade Media family. Episode 294 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here next week, 1 week's time, for episode 295, talking about a 12-1 Chiefs team, moving forward with this tough stretch down the pike, trying to get that 1 seed, trying to stay healthy, and trying to three-peat.
Let's go.
We out of this bitch.
Later.